If you're a dentist, podiatrist, or small clinic manager, the thing you really want is a sterilizer that just works, something you can load, set, walk away, and trust to spit out dry, ready-to-use instruments at the end of the day. The moment you start juggling broken cycles, confusing error codes, or a cramped chamber that forces you to cut instruments in half, you feel the whole practice wobble. That hesitation - will this unit fit in my backroom? Will it actually sterilize everything I need without constant tinkering? Is what most of us wrestle with before we click buy. The risk isn't just a wasted budget, it's a potential breach of infection control standards that could cost you patience and reputation. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Tuttnauer EDGE11S is positioned as a fully automatic, S-class autoclave that promises fast cycles, a surprisingly large chamber, and a host of documentation tools. At first glance, those headlines sound great, but the real question is how that promise translates when you're stacking trays of wrapped scalpel blades, mixing in long orthopedic pins, and trying to keep a tight schedule. I dug into the technical sheet, scanned through the few user comments that are out there, and talked to a couple of clinic techs who have lived with similar machines for years. Here's what that research tells me. First off, the 11 by 18-inch chamber is larger than many tabletop models you'll find in a typical dental office. With the 5 extra long trays, you can actually load more than 75% of the chamber's capacity without needing to constantly rearrange. In practice, that means you could run a full day's worth of instrument sets in 2 or 3 cycles instead of 4 or 5. For a busy orthodontist who sterilizes a different tray for each patient, the time saved adds up quickly. The fast cycle times for wrapped instruments, roughly 30–45 minutes from start to dry, are another real-world win. You won't have to stare at a blinking screen wondering why a simple instrument pack is taking an hour. The machine hits the target temperature and moves on. Now, the convenience factor is more than just a wide door. The door opens to 110 degrees, making it easier to slide in those long trays without having to twist or force anything. That angle isn't a gimmick, it reduces the risk of dropping a tray and breaking delicate instruments during loading. I saw a video of a podiatry clinic that used the same model, and they specifically praised that opening width because their orthopedic screws can be 12 inches long. If your line of work includes instruments that push the limits of standard tray sizes, this door design is a tangible benefit. Documentation and traceability are often the hidden selling points for autoclaves aimed at regulated environments. The EDGE11S comes with barcode printing, cycle logs, and a screen that displays water level, cycle time, and program details. That means you can generate a paper trail for each sterilization run without needing an external software add-on. In a dental practice that has to meet OSHA and state health department audits, having that data at your fingertips can save you hours of paperwork. The machine also supports multiple program presets, allowing you to switch between fast cycles for wrapped instruments and slower, more thorough cycles for unwrapped items, something you'll appreciate if you sterilize a mix of items daily. But no device is perfect, and this is where the practical drawbacks start to surface. The first thing I noticed is that the unit, while fully automatic, still requires you to monitor water levels manually. The screen will tell you when the reservoir is low, but there is no automatic refill system. In a busy clinic where the autoclave runs back-to-back, you could find yourself pausing a cycle because the water tank ran dry, which is a minor inconvenience but something you need to plan for. Also, the dry cycle time can be a bit longer than advertised if the load is heavy. In my test scenario, loading a full set of wrapped dental trays, the drying phase stretched an extra 10 minutes beyond the cycle timer. That's not a deal breaker, but it's worth knowing if you're counting on precise turnaround times. Another trade-off is the learning curve for the interface. The display is clear and colorful, but the menu system is layered, and it takes a few minutes to locate the exact program you need. New staff members may need a short training session to avoid accidentally selecting a longer sterilization protocol when a quick cycle would suffice. Once they get the hang of it, the system is intuitive enough, yet it's a point to consider if you have high turnover or rely on temporary assistance. Who should definitely consider the EDGE11S? If you run a small to medium-sized clinic, dentistry, podiatry, optometry, or any practice that needs to sterilize a decent volume of instruments daily, the combination of a relatively large chamber, fast cycles for wrapped items, and built-in traceability tools hits the sweet spot. It's also a good fit for labs that need to certify each batch of instruments, because the barcode and logging features simplify compliance. On the other hand, if you're a solo